You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Everyone loves liberty. Our rights come from God, not the government. So why are you letting other people tell you what's best for your healthcare? Exercise your freedom with Liberty Health Share. Liberty Health Share is a community of people who voluntarily share one another's medical costs. Liberty Health Share is founded on the idea that most people truly want to help one another. Healthcare sharing allows members to do just that as a true community that supports one another in times of need. Liberty believes people should make decisions for themselves and their families. Members are able to take back the freedom to make their own decisions about their healthcare. Freedom from guilt or doubt about how your money is used. You have the freedom to direct your healthcare, not to be dictated to by bureaucrats. Stop letting others tell you what to do and join a community of like-minded people. Exercise your freedom. Join Liberty Health Share and take back the control of your healthcare while helping those around you. Call Liberty at 855-58-LIBERTY. Again, that's 855-58-LIBERTY for more information, or you can check them out at libertyhealthshare.org. Again, that's libertyhealthshare.org.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
At St. Jude, a family never sees a bill at all. It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Sometimes riders feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
He's duck and cover, duck and cover. He did what we all must learn to do. You and you and you and you, duck and cover.
Welcome to the Hardcore Patriot.
This right here is payback, playback. I don't play that. This right here is payback, playback. I don't play that.
But we have to pass the bill so that you can find out what is in it.
Now, having said all this, why aren't I 50 points ahead right now?
You gotta get them up. Who wants some? You better get them up. Come get some. You gotta get them up. Who wants some? You better get them up. Come get some. You gotta get them up. Who wants some? You better get them up. Come get some. You gotta get them up. Who wants some? You better get them up.
And now, here's your host, Alan Ray.
Oh, a microphony.
And a phony at the mic.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Here we go again. It's Monday. These are the cornfields of southeastern Michigan, and I am Alan Ray, the host of the Hardcore Patriot. Welcome. So much to talk about. Heading for a nuclear war with North Korea. The possibility gets more and more real every day. A bring back from my past, which almost like a prophecy over a year ago. We're going to have a talk about it today. And as I promised on my next show, which didn't happen Friday, I'm sorry, we had some technical issues. I seriously have had to work around some things. But hey, here we are. We're back and we're ready to kick some butt. And we're going to start off with a review from the new holster I've been wearing while running. Hey, let's kick this in the butt. I told you last time we talked that I had a new running holster delivered to my door, and I was going to try it out, and I was going to give you a full report on what I thought of it. I can't give you a full report because I'm actually going to break this down into two different reviews on this because this week I ran, well, over the last week, I ran with one pistol. And this coming week, as soon as it stops being 90 degrees and weather that you could die in when you run, excuse me, I don't run to die. I run to stay healthy. And when it's 90 degrees out with 850% humidity and you walk outside the door and you catch on fire from the sun, somebody forgot to tell old my nature out there that this is fall now. She can back off just a little bit. On the good side of it, the money I spent redoing my pool, we're still being able to use it. Welcome to the Hardcore Patriot. I am so glad you are visiting my humble abode today. Welcome to the people on iHeartRadio, Stitcher, iTunes, of course, KLRNradio.com, where this thing drops at noon on Monday. We definitely welcome you, and on Spreaker. And hey, KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign. In fact, they don't just reign, they stomp your stinking little neo-socialist head straight into the ground and put The giant buttocks of liberty right in your face. Boom, baby. Okay, so here we go. I bought this holster. I'm going to give you the review. First of all, write this down. This is important. And I actually reached out to these people, and they are going to be sending me some material and information on them that we can talk about on my next podcast. It's called Pistolware, and it's real easy. pistolwear.com. That's where you find them. I bought this pistol because I was looking at another, basically just for all practical purpose, it was just another WordPress review. And the guy said that he was looking for something that, he was a law enforcement officer, said he wanted to carry in all situations, always wanted to be prepared, and he could never find something comfortable enough to run in, and he recommended this place. So I looked at it, looked it up and down, checked it out, looked at some reviews, and they had a decent offering, but one of them caught my eye, and this is the Pistolware PT-2 concealment holster. So I got it. First of all, let me give you the price flat out. And I don't know, it's subject to change as usual, but where I bought it, how I bought it, right from the source, right from their website, which is a great website, it cost $47. That included very expedient shipping. In fact, I was almost shocked how fast that thing got to my front door. Nice little package it came in, just basically a Ziploc bag, which came in another shipping bag that was very tight, very secure. And it's a very simple to use and very effective, I found, holster. And I want to give you my initial reports. Number one, the pros. It's kind of a set and forget Velcro setting on it. You adjust it, and then there's a snap that, for all, I'm pretty sure it's just a safety snap. In case the Velcro, for some weird reason, comes undone, the holster just doesn't come flying off. Good thinking. Beautiful thinking. God, I wish more people would do stuff like this. Now, I have a belly band holster, and I don't use it that much. Why? Really, quite honestly, because it's basically just a piece of elastic that holds your pistol, and it's okay, not the greatest. This thing came with an actual pouch, and this is another one of the pros. But you put the Velcro on the pouch, you tighten it, and let me give you this little asterisk here. When you get ready to run with this, okay, comfortable is not tight enough. Stretch it a little bit and make it a little too tight. Reason being is, and I'll tell you, once you hit about a mile and a half, and start really working up a sweat, it will loosen ever so slightly. So tighten it up just a little too tight. Not, don't cut off your circulation. And you'll wear it low on the hips. The belt is about a 3-inch band, and which is nice because it doesn't it's not a 10-inch band wrapping around your waist, making you sweat, making you die. And when I ran in this thing the first time, it was just nasty, humid, sweaty, 80 some odd degrees, felt like 90. I was dying, just sweat. But here's the thing. Run a little too tight, and on the opposite end of the Velcro are 3 snaps. That's where you put it on with when you get ready to run. You wrap it around, snap those 3 snaps, boom, set and forget Velcro. I like that. Did not leave a noticeable print. Okay, I was wearing, I wear Russell Athletics has shorts that have a built-in compression short under it. I love those things because you just get up, throw them on, and you're out the door. And I was wearing a loose-fitting, basically a running shirt. When I put this on, and like I said, you put the band low to the hips, you put the pouch low down into your belt line, and excuse the graphic TMI, but the bottom of that the holster is right at your pubic hair line. That's where it sets the best. And when you have it in that area, there's hardly any print at all. Yeah, you know there's something under your shirt if you tighten your shirt up, but it doesn't look like you're carrying a gun. And the first day I ran in it, I ran with my Ruger LCP, which, by the way, I bought that pistol just for running. That was the reason I bought a 380, because, number one, I have more problems with wild dogs, coyotes, and wildlife than I do with people out here in the cornfields of southeastern Michigan. So that's why I chose that. Number two, let's face it, okay? You can argue back and forth, and I'll debate with the best of them over what stops an intruder. I am the first person to be the big fan of a 45. My everyday carry is a Springfield XDS 45 caliber, and I put some nasty little hollow point rounds in it, and I guarantee you, if I hit you once with that thing, you're going to think twice about coming at me to make me do it again. That being said, a 380 with some Hornady personal defense rounds can be pretty formidable. I've shot a few things in it. The penetration was good. The expansion was good. And let's just face it, getting shot hurts. It makes you think twice about attacking somebody. So anyways, the secret, low on the hips with the belt. That pouch goes down into your shorts. Tighten your shorts up, kind of tight. That way it feels good. And there's no noticeable print, because these people are geniuses, actually put some hard plastic, it's lightweight, but a harder plastic that's flexible in this pouch so it doesn't print your gun. And that also allows it, the way they have it set up, it makes it a little pocket in there. And I've heard some people, I've read all the reviews, did all the research on this before I hit the buy button, that said that an LCP kind of tucked way down in there and was hard to get at. I did not have that problem. I got out in the middle of the cornfields, and you know me, I have to play, I have to do things. I got way out there, and then I made my own drill. There was no houses around, nobody driving around. It was completely safe. I ripped my shirt up and got the gun out, and it was under a second. That's perfect. That's what I wanted. Okay, that's what counts, is being able to get to that arm quickly. The only cons I could see is it's slightly difficult to get a weapon out in under a second. I mean, I had to practice a few times, but I was able to do it. Just like anything else, practice with it. Practice with it when you're target practicing. Go out back, put this holster on, rip your shirt up, reach down there, grab it, fire off a few rounds. The belt could be slightly thicker. That's the only other thing I had with it. I have a running belt by Amphipod, and Amphipod is a great product for just running belts. You can haul water, 2 little cases or little packs of water on them, and it's got a little pouch that you can put, your phone in, and or an MP3 player, a few personal items like maybe your license. That belt is a little thicker, and I like that. However, that is a minor thing. It's very, very minor, because once I got to running this, and my first run was 4 miles with a half-mile walk back to the house, okay? After I adjusted it at 1.5 miles, there was no bounce at all. Absolutely no bounce. In fact, and this is what's very important, you almost forget that you even have it on. If it wasn't, 185 million degrees like the surface of the sun, I probably wouldn't have even known I had it on, because, my stomach sweated a little bit. It wasn't any more than the rest of me, which was a ball of sweat by the time I got done running. Okay. But that being said, it stuck right to my hips, right to my belly. That gun stayed right where it needed to be. Everything was perfect. Bounce went away after I adjusted it after 1.5 miles. The rest of the run was very comfortable. I could have run 6-7 miles easily with this on and almost forget it's on. That's the point. When you are a long distance runner of any sorts, the last thing you need is a little irritation. Because after you hit 3-4 miles, 5 miles, whatever was irritating you a little bit at the beginning of the run is now a major, major issue. I had no issue with this. It's set and forget, slap that gun in there, take off down the road you're running. I am going to give this 4.75 stars. The only quarter of a star that I would knock it down for is I wish that belt was just a little thicker. Now, that is such a minor detail that should not even stop you from spending the $47 for this. Especially, and I don't want to sound sexist, especially if you are a young lady and you want to stay in shape and you're running, and I see this, okay, I work on a college campus. I see this all the time. If you are a young lady and you are staying fit, you are running, please, if you, number one, get your concealed carry permit. Number two, buy this holster, buy yourself a firearm, put it in this holster, and run with it every time. There's too many attacks, there's too many rapes, there's too many assaults, especially around these cities, that can be stopped if the assaulter knew that his victim was carrying a pistol. And this makes it so easy to defend yourself. Now, that being said, if I can run 4 miles, and then the next time I ran with it, it's 3.5, I was just going back and forth. I was still a little sore from really pounding it out the Sunday before, and my knee was a little sore, so I didn't really run a lot in it. Plus, it's just so humid and hot out. Yeah, I'm whining. I'm a whiny little guy today. But that being said, if you can run long distances in this holster, wouldn't it be safe to say that if you were, I don't know, going someplace where you had to do a lot of walking around, you could tuck this thing in your pants, maybe a size bigger pant line, and you would not feel an LCP. Now, this coming week, I'm going to try a Kel-Tec PF9 in it. A Kel-Tec PF9 is very similar to maybe a Smith & Wesson Bodyguard. There's a couple of them right along that lines. It is a compact, subcompact 9mm, a bigger, heavier gun than the LCP, but worth trying out. I'm going to put that in there and give you an updated review on the 9mm, see how that goes. Because if I can run 4 miles with a 9mm strapped to my gut, I'm going to do that. Because, bigger is always better, right? And if I'm just jumping around 3.5 miles where the ounces don't count as much, I would just as soon strap that 9 on. The 380 is just for self-protection or something like that. That is the review. Pistol Wear PT-2 Concealment Holster. Buy one. Men, women, if you're running, if you're exercising, if you're walking, which, if you're not insane, walking is probably a better idea because it's not as hard on the knees, not as hard. Just getting in shape. Buy this holster. You won't regret it, especially a little Ruger LCP. What's the Kel-Tec? They got a little 380 out there that a lot of women like to carry. They're good guns and they're self-defense. Buy one. Highly recommend it. Do it now. Best $47 you're going to spend this summer. You can throw it on, forget it, especially when you're wearing workout clothes. Nobody knows you got it on. The bonus is, and again, I'm a big Amphipod fan. I've got a little Amphipod clip-on pouch that's perfect for my cell phone. And, I'm even though it's probably not the best idea when I run, I like putting my headphones on. And I've gotten addicted to running with books on tapes. Yeah, I'm a nerd. Deal with it. But I throw those on, and it actually clipped onto that side belt. And you still didn't know I was carrying anything under my gut. If you were looking at me running down the road, you wouldn't know that I was armed. That's the key. That's secret. You don't want to scare the general public, especially in this day and age, when, being armed is, oh my gosh, they got a gun, and they go find their safe space. We'll have a little bit of respect for the little snowflakes. All right. Moving on, let's get down to the nitty-gritty of what's going on in the world today. I'm going to throw something at you that I dug up. Okay, some of you may or may not know this. When I started out in this insane world of podcasting, broadcasting, KLRN radio, I started out on Rick Robinson's show, America Off the Rails, doing this little stint called the 5-Minute Patriot. And he kept saying, when are you going to go to an hour? When are you going to go to an hour? And kind of dogging and ribbing me about it. And, well, here I am, bloviating in your ear for an hour. Hey, it's his fault. Blame him. Nonetheless, I was thinking about something the other day, and I dug through a lot of my recordings, and I dug this up. On April 8th, 2016, I sent him a 5-Minute Patriot episode called Points of Tyranny. And I want to play this for you because, man, I tell you what, for somebody that has about 18 gray cells hooked together to carry all of his thoughts, which half of them usually misfire, every once in a while, I find that I'm dead on with things. And I hate to be that way and sound egotistical, but hey, you know what? It's not that I'm smarter than you. It's just I keep my eyes open and I look at things and I study them. That's all it really takes. And I'm going to play you this cut, and then we're going to talk about it. You know, in 2012, the IRS was caught targeting conservative political groups for closer scrutiny. In 2014, the NSA was caught spying on the very Congress that conceived it, along with collecting metadata from citizens of the entire United States. The lawsuits against the TSA for groping and power abuse can fill a novel the size of War and Peace these days. And agree with it or not, the Bureau of Land Management has been caught red-handed bullying ranchers in the West, trying to throw them off their land where they've secured grazing rights for generations. The list goes on and on. But you know, we never seem to hear about the offenders being held accountable. Or when they do, it's usually a very weak sentence. And like every awake American, the question on my mind is why? Well, first of all, let's take a look at how the government operates. These bureaucracy heads are not elected positions, so it's harder to oust a tyrant once they get into these agencies. The department heads or secretaries are actually selected by the president and can change from president to president. However, the staffs under those secretaries are permanent employees that may stay in their positions even through political changes. The nature of the layout of a government agency or a government bureaucracy makes it hard to hold anyone in that agency accountable when they become one of the points of tyranny in this government. The president is at the top of the chain. And you know, the president will be protected to the end by the people he puts in place. It's a cycle of deception and shell games between the secretaries and the president that drags any accusation into months of political drudgery. And by the time the issue is brought before Congress, Americans have moved on. We've come across another crisis, or we've looked at another form of tyranny, or we've uncovered yet another political corruption that we're outraged about, and this has kind of moved into the shadows and we never hear of the outcome. It's a problem that can only be resolved through unrelenting and an unforgetting demands on our Congress. If you don't have the number of your local representative, why not? We, the people, need to start taking back our government. And it begins by fighting these points of tyranny at the agency levels. When the IRS does something that's unscrupulous, when the Bureau of Land Management tries to throw people off of land that they belong on, when the FBI does something that's underhanded, when the NSA is caught spying on somebody that they have no right to spy on, we need to have long memories. We need to start to hold grudges. We need to keep screaming and crying out to our officials, our elected government agents, until justice prevails. The battle must be fought legally and peacefully, if at all possible. We have to squelch these government agencies from becoming points of tyranny. It's just the way it has to be. Every time they step over the line, we need to smack them back hard and heavy, legally and peacefully. If we're consistent with our efforts to point out when this tyranny arises, we will be victorious in the end.
I love you.
Man, oh man, was I ever right in that one. And when we come back from our 30-minute break, we're going to discuss why that was so relevant on April 8th, 2016, and why it's even more relevant today. I'm Alan Ray, the Hardcore Patriot. Thank you for joining me today. I'll be back in a few.
as a mother, you don't want to have to worry about this bill is coming, but then she needs this chemo. That's a decision you shouldn't have to make.
At St. Jude, a family never sees a bill at all. It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders.
The treatment doesn't get any better than what you receive at St. Jude. It saved my life. It saved my daughter's life. It saved our family.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures. Saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps stand ready to defend the American way of life. The few, the proud, the Marines.
The thought of my sons growing up without me inspired me to quit smoking.
I talked to my doctors, and then I threw away all my cigarettes, ashtrays, and lighters.
I started exercising instead of smoking.
Staying away from alcohol when I was first quitting was key.
I kept on trying, learned something each time.
Do whatever it takes.
No matter how many times it takes.
We did it, so can you.
For free help, call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and CDC.
And we're back. Hey, welcome back to the show. It's Alan Ray, the Hardcore Patriot. As I told you, back on April 8th, 2016, that little episode that I did of the 5-Minute Patriot, which there was an excerpt from I just played, I couldn't have been more right. Just recently, we found out that Lois Lerner is not going to be charged, even though there are tons of solid evidence pointing to her targeting right-wing groups like the Tea Party or any other hundreds of groups and people who had conservative values solely for the fact of political persecution. They won't prosecute her, and I got a feeling they won't prosecute her because if she starts blabbing her big mouth, all the guns are going to point at Barack Hussein Obama, who gave the order. She worked for him. What are they trying to do? Save face? If you're a tyrant, you're a tyrant, and you should be taken down. If Donald Trump turns into a tyrant, he should be taken down. Now, all of these people who are freaking out over Trump saying this, Trump saying that, and Trump saying, well, you know, we're not going to allow transgendered people in the military because they're mentally unfit. They're freaking out, screaming, yelling. That's not tyranny. When he starts sending his minions to persecute people because of their political, religious, or any other affiliation, that's tyranny. Now, you can say, well, the ban on those countries that came out, well, that's tyranny. No, it's not. He has every right to do that. Barack Obama did it. George W. Bush did it. Bill Clinton did it. All the presidents. Back through the times that presidents even got their heads out of the backside and realized there's nations that don't vet immigrants coming here and they're capable of atrocities. That's not political or religious persecution. That's not political persecution. That's securing our borders. Oh, hey, by the way, that's one of the president's jobs. That's why he's called the executive branch. Because we have all of these laws that are meant to vet immigrants coming into this nation. And if we do not get cooperation from other nations about the people coming into our country, why should we let them in our country? That has nothing to do with what goes on inside the borders. And if we find out that the little orange goblin in the White House decides to start persecuting people because of anything, I'll be the first one to announce it and scream it from this show. You can't do that. We've grown up. We're big boys and girls now, right? I'm not going to play this side, that side. He said, she said. The second the tyranny starts, I'm going to point it out. And I don't care which side it comes from. I don't. I really, truly don't. But what we have here, and this is something that I'm blasting the GOP for, blasting Donald Trump for. Why is Lois Lerner not being charged? Why did the Hillary Clinton investigation not get reopened? And then we go one step further. We have a defiant, completely defiant NSA. Let me grab this article here from the emptywheel.net. It says, the first set of documents are those on the 2011 discussion about upstream collection, liberated just recently by Charlie Savage. They show that in September 7th, 2011 hearing, John Bates told the government that he believed the collection of discrete communications the government had not examined in their sampling might also contain about communications that were entirely domestic. And he quotes the article, we also have this other category in your random sampling. This is the testimony. Again, that is 9/10 of the random sampling that was set aside as being discrete communications, 45,000 out of the 50,000, as to which our questioning has indicated we have a concern that some of the about communications may actually have wholly domestic communications. And I don't think that you've really assessed that either theoretically or by an actual examination of those particular transactions or communications. And I'm not indicating to you what I expect you to do, but I do have this concern that there are a fair number of wholly domestic communications in that category, and there's nothing. You really haven't had an opportunity to address that, but there's nothing that has been said to date that would dissuade me from that conclusion. So I'm looking there for some convincing, if you will, assessment of why there are not wholly domestic communications with that body, which is 9/10 of the random sampling. And the NSA basically thumbed their nose at the government and said, "Yeah, we don't have to do that." Really? Who's pulling the strings in the NSA? And why do we have a bureaucracy in the government that's allowed free rein to defy the Constitution? Why? Once again, we have FBI. Director Comey, ex-Director Comey, basically goes against the system and prematurely excuses Hillary Clinton. He doesn't have the authority to do that. And now it's coming out, evidence is coming out that he did it months. He already made up his mind months before the investigation was closed that he was just going to excuse her. And then they come out with this lame, stupid excuse. Oh, well, she didn't mean to break the law. Really? Would that matter with me? I didn't mean to be doing 85 and a 70. I'm sorry, officer. I didn't mean to be doing 90 in a 35-mile-an-hour residential zone with a lot of kids. I didn't mean to be doing that. I wasn't trying to break the law. Yeah, get out of the car, sir. Step over here. That's what you and I would get. Why are these elected officials any different? And now I come across this article today that I want to share with you. And why? I want to ask this question. Why is this not all over the news? It's by Daniel J. Mitchell from fee.org. And fee.org is, I don't know, I forget what it actually even stands for, but basically it's kind of a watchdog group. And I want to read some of this to you. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. This sounds like a party at my house. No, not really. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms must be anxious to get on my list of government bureaucracies that shouldn't exist. This guy sounds like me. The bureaucrats have engaged in some really silly and petty behavior, such as confiscating airsoft toy guns because they might be machine guns, and they've engaged in some behavior that is criminally stupid and dangerous, like Fast and Furious. Now we have another example, though it's too bizarre that I'm not sure how to classify it. Basically, the bureaucrats created an illegal slush fund, and then they used the money illegally. The New York Times has been on top of the story. Here are excerpts from the latest report, and this is from the New York Slimes. For 7 years, okay, that puts it back in the Barack Obama administration. Hello, corruption. I just went through 8 years of the presidency, never had any corruption at all. Nothing. That's because you buried it so deep and you had all your little minions working for you. Huh? For 7 years, agents at the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives, now it really sounds like a gathering at my house, followed an unwritten policy. If you needed to buy something for one of your cases, do not bother asking Washington. Talk to agents in Bristol, Virginia, who controlled a multi-million-dollar account unrestricted by Congress or the bureaucracy. Thousands of pages of newly unsealed records reveal a widespread scheme, a highly unorthodox merger of an undercover law enforcement operation and a legitimate business. What began as a way to catch black market cigarette dealers quickly transformed into a nearly untraceable ATF slush fund that agents from around the country could tap. One agent steered hundreds of thousands of dollars in real estate, electronics, and money to his church and his children's sports team, records show. At least tens of millions of dollars moved through the account before it was shut down in 2013. Who was president in 2013? I can't remember that far. Let me see. Oh, yeah, Barack Obama. Moving on. But no one can say for sure how much the government never tracked it. Oh, and by the way, the ATF was breaking the law. Federal law prohibits mixing government and private money. The ATF now acknowledges it can point to no legal justification for the scheme. But wait, there's more. No one was ever prosecuted.
Oh my God!
Congress was only recently notified, and the Justice Department tried for years to keep the record secret. Those cigarettes are available at any corner store. They are extraordinarily profitable to smuggle. That's because taxes are high and every state sets its own rate. Virginia charges $3 per carton. New York charges $43.50. The simplest scheme, buying cigarettes in Virginia and selling them tax-free in New York, can generate tens of thousands of dollars in illicit cash. By some estimates, more than half of New York's cigarettes come from the black market. How about that? Nobody is getting charged. The story is out there. The New York Slimes even brought the story out.
Do you smell it? That smell. The kind of smelly smell. The smelly smell that smells smelly.
That's right, Mr. Crab. The U.S. Government Crime Fighting Agency ran a secret bank account that its employees used to buy luxury cars, property, and trips to casinos. Officers for the ATF, charged with investigating smuggling and gun crimes, built up a slush fund worth tens of millions of dollars through illicit cigarette sales, ostensibly as part of an operation to catch traffickers. The scandal is the latest controversy to hit the agency, which has been criticized in recent years for a lack of accountability and allowing the flow of guns and drugs to go unchecked. Cash from the slush fund generated an ATF field office in Bristol, Virginia, funded activities such as trip to Las Vegas, donations to agents and children, and the booking of $21,000 suite at a NASCAR race. Points of tyranny. Why? Why? You want something to march on Washington, D.C. about? You want something to corner your local senator, your local representative about, and say, hey, what is going on? Tens of millions of dollars in illegal slush fund with the money being used illegally, and you don't hear about it? Why? But because you have morons on the TV taking a knee on the National Football League. I don't care about them. And here's a little secret about those idiots, by the way, just not to chase a rabbit. Yeah, they have the right to do that. We have the right to turn off the NFL and watch them go bankrupt. Bye-bye. Which I hope you have the good sense to do and not forget this. As we put out in that little point of tyranny thing that I just played, we need to have long and unforgiving memories when it comes to government tyranny and to these big loud mouths that make millions upon millions of dollars. And when they don't sell out their stadiums, and this is something you may or may not know, they bill the state. And the state happily pays for those tickets so the commercials can run, so people can make money. Well, it's time for them to stop making money. Let's see how these football players like taking a knee when they don't get to make $5 million for a season, when they only get to be paid $50,000 because nobody goes to their crummy games anymore. I don't even like the NFL. They've got so many rules and so many nasty policies now that it's no fun to even watch. Now back to my point. We have a problem in this nation. It's not going away. We literally have people who you don't get a choice. You don't get to vote for the heads of these agencies. Defiantly, openly breaking the law. Defiantly and openly thwarting and thumbing their nose at the United States Constitution, and they don't care what you think about it because they're not in any danger. They literally have to do something profound in order to get tagged, in order to get taken down. And you don't see that very much. They might get moved to another district. Lois Lerner, she just got shuffled around. Yeah, okay, well, we'll reshuffle the deck. And, oh, by the way, you're going to retire. Oh, with full benefits. Do you know what the government benefits are? The federal government elected benefits or bureaucracy benefits when you, quote, retire as the head of a department, as a cabinet member? Let's put it this way. You and I, average patriot, we don't make that much. Probably not in about 2 or 3 years. Disgusting. Disgusting. This is where we should take a cue from the left and march on Washington, D.C. In fact, really honestly, this is one of those things that you should reach across the aisle to your neighbor next door that has that Hillary Clinton should have been president sign in her front yard and grab their hand and say, hey, you know what? This is a point where you and I can hold hands and march on Washington, D.C. together because this affects you as much as it affects me. And if Barack Hussein Obama does it, then Donald Trump can do it. And George W. Bush can do it. And Bill Clinton. And George H.W. Bush. And on and on. And the future next 10 presidents can do it. Why? Because it set precedent. Oh, yeah, go ahead, break the law. Thumb your nose at the Constitution. You're not going to suffer any consequences. We'll just shuffle you around, move you to something else, and you'll still get all of your money and retire with all your benefits instead of rotting in a federal penitentiary from going against the Constitution and the wishes of the people. This is why you should be angry. This is a good reason to be calling your senator and going, what's going on here? No, you go after Hillary Clinton. You go after Lois Lerner. They go after the ATF, the Department of Justice, with their civil asset forfeitures. No, you don't do that. You can't do that. That's unconstitutional. If they want civil asset forfeitures, they have to have a reason. There actually has to be a crime committed and somebody convicted and put away before that happens. Otherwise, no. Maybe you can hold their personal possessions for a while. But you can't keep them. You can't sell them. That's not yours to do. That's theirs. But yet we allow this. And that's why we have these points of tyranny in the United States of America. You want a reason to march? You want a reason to yell and scream? And to go to town hall meetings? There's your reason right there. These bureaucracies answer to nobody. They literally have gotten so defiant that they thumb their nose at their own bosses, at the government, and almost dare them to do something about it. Why? Well, if you're the NSA, you can probably get a lot of dirt on anybody that tries to take you down, right? Right. It's out of control. It really is. It makes me crazy just thinking about it. Now we're going to move on. Move on to something that I have been sitting behind this microphone, screaming, yelling, talking, telling you is going to happen, and it gets closer and closer, and now we've pretty much reached critical mass. How do you know when you've reached critical mass when it comes to this? Well, let's listen to Donald Trump's own words, the President of the United States.
If we desire to lift up our citizens, if we aspire to the approval of history, then we must fulfill our sovereign duties to the people we faithfully represent. We must protect our nations, their interests, and their futures. We must reject threats to sovereignty from the Ukraine to the South China Sea. We must uphold respect for law, respect for borders, and respect for culture, and the peaceful engagement these allow. And just as the founders of this body intended, we must work together and confront together those who threaten us with chaos, turmoil, and terror.
Is that Donald Trump sounding like a president? Are you kidding me? North Korea has openly said their wishes are to fire off one of their little missiles, one of their little rockets, with an active warhead on it and explode an atomic bomb out into the ocean. The problem is, to do this, no matter which way they fire, they're going to fire it over a landmass that's not theirs, that has peaceful people that they're not at war with. This is a problem. This is a problem, and, you know, it's bad. Okay, I just blasted Donald Trump. Now I'm going to play good Donald. It's bad when he's the one that makes sense. He goes before the United Nations and says what he did. That you've got Russia invading the Ukraine. It's not theirs. Why? Why aren't we standing up against this? You've got that little fat doughboy sitting in North Korea saying that he likes to blow things up and he's going to do it. He's insane. We've got people out there that says he's insane, that have escaped North Korea. That says he ties people to anti-aircraft guns and fires them off. This guy's a nutbag. Donald Trump is not backing down. I don't think he should. My first instinct back a couple of months ago when I first started the Hardcore Patriot, going at you a couple times a week, was that we need diplomacy. We need to diffuse the situation. I'm starting to see now there is no diffusing this situation. However, this is what scares me the most. And here's the second part, the second soundbite from Trump at the UN that kind of unsettles me.
No nation on earth has an interest in seeing this band of criminals arm itself with nuclear weapons and missiles. The United States has great strength and patience, but if it is forced to defend itself or its allies, we will have no choice but to totally destroy North Korea.
That kind of unsettles me right there. Number one, the utter destruction of North Korea would take a lot of very innocent people with it. These people have been tyrannized. These people have been oppressed. These people have been starved, beaten. They're terrified of their government. The propaganda is absolutely horrible over there. And as far as they know, they are the dominant ones in this fight, and it's not the truth. We have at our disposal the ways and the means to take out anywhere that little chubby guy can run and hide. Kim Jong-un is not a safe person right now. We have bunker busters that can take him out underground. We literally are working on warheads that have the same destructive force as the bombs that were dropped on Nagasaki and Hiroshima in World War II. However, they're non-nuclear. They won't have the radiation and the fallout. That would be a good time to use those, right on the Capitol. The problem is, and this is where I'm very undecided. North Korea is getting dangerously close to war. And these freaks want an all-out nuclear war. They do. They really do. I think they do because I think they want to drag Russia and China onto their side, which I think would actually happen if we were to start firing. Why? Because North Korea is very, very close to both, and it will affect Russia. It will affect China. I don't think China will stay neutral. I think they will side with North Korea in a heartbeat. I know Russia will, because they have in the past. We have a very, very big problem going on with this right now. And here we are focused on idiots taking a knee for the national anthem. You know what? Just turn your TVs off of NFL. Turn your TVs off of the NBA. Like I told you in the last episode, these people thrive on your attention. It's the only way they have legitimacy is if you stay completely focused on them. You know what? They don't deserve your focus. Your focus should be on getting a hold of your senators and finding out what we're going to do about North Korea, and can we do this without a conflict, without nuking innocent people, and can we still protect ourselves from this little moron, this little crazy guy whose family tree resembles a telephone pole? And number two, finding out when exactly did the government decide to excuse heads of bureaucracies for their illegal activities. They should be the ones that actually get put in prison for twice as long as a normal citizen because they took an oath. They took an oath to defend the Constitution and to abide by its laws by accepting their position. That's the two things I want you to take into this week. You want to be outraged? Screw the NFL. They are not worth it anyways. Let's let them go bankrupt. Turn them off. Notify some of their big shooters that, hey, you know what? We're not going to buy your products anymore because you support people that disrespect America. Now, do they have the freedom of speech to do what they're doing? Yes, they most certainly do. They most certainly do have the right to peacefully protest. Are they idiots? Yes, they're idiots. Now, why does it sound like I'm almost defending their right to do what they're doing? Because the way this nation's going, there may come a day where you take a knee. There may come a day where you're so disgusted by this government and it's become completely socialist, completely unconstitutional, completely un-Bill of Rights. You may have to take a knee yourself. You don't want it to really be illegal if you have to. I'm Alan Ray, the Hardcore Patriot. We're winding this one up. God bless you. I hope you come join me again. I can't wait to talk to you again. I'm going to have the second part of the review, and hopefully, Lord willing, these people at Pistolware will get back a hold of me, and we'll hear what they have to say, because right now, I'm 100% on their side. I'm urging you to go get that. Have a great week. Do something for yourself. Get out and exercise. Prepare yourself. Get that 72-hour bag ready. You know, with all the stuff going on in North Korea, I don't want to get you stressed out. I don't want to get you all freaked out. Start getting Cold War preparations back in your mind. Those of you that are my age that remember the Cold War, start thinking about that stuff again. Start thinking about duct tape and plastic sheeting. Start thinking about a safe place in your house far away from window panes and stuff that you can get to that might save you from radiation and fallout. I hate that I have to even say that. Start thinking about freeze-dried food and bottled water that you can store and places to store them. It's getting ugly out there, folks. But we will endure because we are Americans, not Americans. God bless you. God bless the USA. Until next time, you got to get them up.
You gotta get 'em up.